The silence of space was never silent. Out near Jupiter's orbit, amidst the glistening fragments of shattered moons and drifting debris, a distress signal pulsed weakly, repeating the same haunting phrase in over 50 languages. Humanity burns. If you're still out there, fight. Commander Alara Miles watched the flickering message from the bridge of the Odyssey's end, her knuckles pale against the steel console. 23 years in space, and she'd never seen a signal come through from Sector Redline, where Earth's last defense had fallen 5 years ago. According to every database, everything from Mars to Mercury was just black glass, and yet, the signal came, and it was human. "We have to go," said Captain Harrow, his voice grave but steady. "If even one survivor made it to Jupiter's moons." "They didn't," Alara interrupted, eyes never leaving the screen. "But whoever's sending that signal, they want us to think they did." She tapped the console, freezing the signal mid-frame. Hidden behind the audio stream, beneath layers of distortion, was a frequency signature. Old Earth tech, but not human-designed. Sharian frequency. "Their old war can't compression," she whispered. Everyone on the bridge stilled. The Sharians had ended Earth in 13 minutes. A psychic invasion, a firestorm of orbital plasma. They never even spoke. They simply erased. The war had shattered humanity. The colonies scattered. And now, someone or something was calling them home to die. "Plot a course to Ganymede," Alara said, her tone shifting, "and prepare the atom shields. If this is bait, I want to be the trap." The journey across the rings of Jupiter was nothing short of breathtaking. Ice, stone, forgotten wreckage, and strange starlight formed a slope spiraling Balian, ancient walls of ruin, in the observation bay. Alara stood alone. She pressed a trembling hand to the glass, staring out across the cosmic beauty. Somewhere, out there, her brother Yalan had died, a field medic, during the last stand over Europa. He'd broadcast the final scream before the satellites went dark. "Alara, I see the lights," he had said. "They're not ships. They're singing." The memory clawed at her ribs like frost. And now, they were back, as Odysseys. End slipped into orbit, over Ganymede. The crew braced. Scans showed no cities, no heat, no movement. But deep within the icy crust, something was transmitting directly into their dreams. Private Rika stumbled from her bunk with blood dripping from her ears. "I saw them," she gasped. They were dancing, on fire, on the rings. Dr. Kim sedated her. Classic psychic interference, Shirian signature. "This planet's not dead, it's dreaming." And dreams, Alara thought grimly, can kill. At 0300 hours, a ship emerged from beneath Ganymede's surface. It wasn't. She re-handed, wasn't human either. Its hull shimmered like obsidian laced with liquid gold. Gravity bent around it. It didn't move, it glided through physics like a song refusing to follow sheet music. And then, a voice filled the ship. No speakers, no comms. Just a voice, raw, gentle, and impossibly ancient. "You remembered the dance," Alara staggered. "Identify yourself." No reply. The ship hovered above them, casting shadows across Jupiter's rings. And in that moment, 1,000 memories not their own surged through the crew fields of fire, oceans that bled light. The sound of human lullabies, sung by non-human mouths. "What the hell is this?" Harrow choked out. Dr. Kim whispered, "Not an enemy. Not anymore." "Then what?" Alara snapped. The voice returned, softer this time. "A requiem for the war that ended you. A waltz for those who still hope." Then, in a burst of light, the alien ship fired not at them, but into space. A warning shot. A message. Something worse than the Shirians was coming, and humanity was not ready. Jupiter loomed massive and eternal behind them, an angry god swirled in storms and silence. But beneath Ganymede's crust, something ancient stirred. Alara stood in the decontamination chamber, the iced mist from the surface still clinging to her armor. Her breath came in short bursts as the ship sealed behind her. The away team had retrieved a fragment metallic, jagged, humming with psychic residue from a fissure nearly 6 kilometers deep, and it was singing no, not singing, membering play. It again, she said. The fragment, secured in a magnetic stasis chamber, emitted a burst of harmonic pulses, resonating like a chorus, sung by shattered voices. Dr. Kim adjusted the translator array. It's replaying a memory, not just audio. Emotion, loss, surrender, and warning. The tones shifted. Cold, screaming, fire in the dark. Alara's spine locked. That's the sound of Earth dying. Kim nodded grimly. But there's more. Listen. As the signal deepened, another voice layered beneath it, delicate, not Sharian, not human, something else entirely. He danced with her at the edge of ruin, and the stars wept to remember. What does it mean? Harrow asked, from the corner. Kim hesitated. It's a eulogy, not for a person, for a species. They traced the source of the signal to a chamber beneath Ganymede's South Pola, vault etched with moving glyphs. The deeper they went, the more the crew felt it, not just pressure, time, a pulse. Like the heartbeat of a god long buried, the chamber door opened for them, not with force, but memory. Each step forward triggered flashes behind their eyes. Earth's final war, Europa's last cry, Mars in flame, but also images they didn't recognize. A man, human, dancing with her, an alien figure cloaked in fractal light, moving in rhythm. With him atop the rings of Jupiter, her hands glowing like flame, his steps echoing with defiance. Alara dropped to one knee, overwhelmed. Who is he? Kim whispered. A soldier, a bridge. He's been erased from our records, but not from this place. The walls flickered, projecting the dance. A battlefield, turned ballroom. Explosions, shaped like flowers. The dance of surrender, turned into defiance. Above, the alien ship still waited, and this time, it responded to their scans not with words, but by opening. A docking corridor extended toward Odyssey's end, organic metal, glistening, breathing. Alara stood at the edge, staring into the unknown. It wants me. Kim grabbed her arm. Why you? I don't know, but I've seen that dance. In my dreams. For years. She turned to Harrow. If I don't come back, fire everything we've got at the vault. Don't let this fall into Sharian hands. Alara, promise me. He nodded. She stepped through. Inside the alien vessel. Gravity turned sideways. The floor bent like a wave beneath her feet, yet she stayed balanced. Lights pulsed with her heartbeat. The walls shifted like memories in liquid form, and then it appeared. A being shaped from light and memory, tall and graceful, bearing the silhouette from the chamber vision. You're her, Alara said. The dancer. The alien tilted its head. I was once, and he was your kind. He gave everything to make the galaxy remember what you are. Who was he? The being's form flickered. The last man who believed in peace. The last human to touch a Shireen and not be killed. Alara's voice cracked. My brother said he saw them singing, just before he died. The being nodded. He saw us. We were trying to stop the end, but we were too late. She stepped closer. Then why call us now? The answer came like thunder behind a whisper. Because what's coming eats both Sharian and human alike. The ship's walls parted, revealing a star map. A red scar split the void, pulsing, spreading like rot. Ilara's breath caught. That's not a war. That's extinction. The being reached out a glowing hand. You want to survive? Then dance like he did, on the edge of death. With everything watching, Alara stood motionless before the map, the red gash across space pulsating like a wound that never clotted. What is it? She asked, her voice barely more than breath. The alien's luminous gaze dimmed, as if mourning. It has no language, no form. It devours memory, culture, bond. It is not war, it is forgetting. Illyra's pulse quickened. You're talking about the Oblivion Plague, the one we thought was Sharian disinformation. They believed it was myth too, until it consumed one of their stars, and then another. The alien moved closer. With each step, its body pulsed with raw memory flashes of destroyed civilizations, lost languages, lovers who could no longer remember each other's names. Your kind's dance with us delayed it. A heartbeat, a breath. But he died too soon. Illyra felt her throat tighten. The soldier, the one who danced on Jupiter's rings, his name was Cade. She whispered it like a prayer. Cade, a human name carved into the foundation of an alien culture. One man who changed the course of an entire war, not with weapons, but rhythm and courage. Then why hasn't humanity been warned? Because your kind doesn't believe in warning, only survival. Back on Odyssey's end, panic was setting in. The alien ship had gone dark. Severing the umbilical tether to Illyra, the stasis fragment began to scream, no sound, just psychic. Anguish flooding every mind on board. Crew members collapsed. Others screamed for home. Harrow clenched the console. Cut power to the vault. Kim, I need solutions. Dr. Kim, sweat streaking his brow, turned. We're not dealing with war here. We're dealing with a memory-based parasite. It doesn't just kill bodies. It erases meaning. Explain. Harrow barked. Kim pointed to the fragment. It's broadcasting a frequency that disassembles identity. It wants us to forget who we are, so we can't resist. Rika, barely conscious, mumbled, I can't remember my mother's face. That was when Harrow made the call. Evacuate to the cryo bay. Deep freeze the crew. Buy us time. I'll stay awake. Inside the alien vessel, Illyra stared into the pulse of Cade's last dance. You brought me here for a reason, she said. What do you need from me? The alien extended its hand again, palm glowing with lines of human DNA overlaid with alien fractal code. You carry his rhythm, his blood. You are the final node. Illyra flinched. Node for what? A syncopation? A memory loop, strong enough to survive the oblivion. Her head swam with images, humans and aliens dancing in orbit, fusing cultures through movement, rhythm syncing across species. A code written not in words, but steps. You want me to? Finish the dance? Yes. Before it consumes the stars. Before the last of us forget why we ever fought. Back aboard the Odyssey's end, alarms screamed. Something massive breached Ganymede's surface. It wasn't the Shi'arians. It wasn't anything anyone had seen. A sphere of swirling shadows, 20 kilometers wide, hovered over the ice. It didn't reflect light. It didn't move. It absorbed the idea of movement. Where it passed, memories vanished. Satellite logs erased. Weapons no longer recognized their activation codes. Harrow stood on the command deck, paralyzed. It's not just a threat. Dr. Kim, wide-eyed, whispered. It's a void that writes itself backward. It removes the reason we exist. The sphere began to pulse, and that's when the alien ship lit up again. Illyra's voice broadcast. Through every frequency. This is Commander Miles. I've learned what's coming and we're not ready, but there's a way. A memory. A dance. If you hear this, remember me. Then the ship surged forward, racing toward the black sphere, not to fight, but to lead it away. She was sacrificing herself, just like Cade, in orbit. As the alien ship vanished into the void, a sudden shockwave of sound echoed through space, not destruction. A beat, like a heartbeat, like a footstep. One rhythm. Against erasure. The oblivion paused, and for the first time, it recoiled. Illyra had done the impossible. She had made it, remember. The alien ship vanished into the black fold of the oblivion and, with it, Commander Illyra Miles. The crew of Odyssey's End stood paralyzed, orbiting a dying moon, while a living void devoured time, light, and history beneath them. She's gone, Harrow said, his voice a hollow echo in the silence. She gave herself to delay it, No, Dr. Kim whispered. She gave us the rhythm. He turned to the data core. Within seconds, the ship's memory banks were flashing an uplink, initiated from the alien vessel, before it vanished. Embedded within it was a single repeating file, a loop of Elara. Dancing tar body moved with haunting precision, graceful, powerful, deliberate. The same rhythm encoded in Cade's memories. The same pattern etched in the vault beneath Ganymede. Every motion, each spin, each step was data, a signal, a weapon forged in grief, love, and defiance. She left us the code, Kim murmured. In her movement, she's telling us how to resist. Elara floated in nothing. The oblivion did not feel like a place. It was absence of memory, of sound, of time, but something kept her grounded. The rhythm, each beat of her heart echoed into the void like defiance. She moved, not walked, not flew, but danced. Each gesture sent pulses rippling across the darkness, and the oblivion noticed. 1,000 shadows shifted toward her, curious, hungry. They tried to pierce her mind, but every time they reached for her, her body spun, kicked, moved in spirals of encoded resistance. Each motion held a memory, her mother's voice, her brother's laughter, the sunrise over Earth from orbit, the feel of music on her skin, and it repelled the darkness like fire repels frost in the distance. A light blinked, not alien, not Shirian, human. Back aboard Odyssey's end. Harrow made a choice that would damn or save them all. Transmit the dance, he ordered. The crew gathered in the zero-G dome, hundreds of bodies syncing with motion. The data was translated into motion suits, holograms, rhythm pads. Soldiers, engineers, and medics moved like waves, like echoes of something ancient and sacred. Across human outposts, the signal spread. Colonies on Titan, Mars enclaves, deep-orbit mining rigs. Even the ragged remnants of the Shirian war fleet intercepted it, and they responded. One by one, they moved, Shirian limbs pulsing with staccato tremors, human hearts pounding in tribal sync. A species broken by war began to remember its pulse. They weren't fighting back with missiles. They were fighting back with identity, with rhythm, with memory. Inside the oblivion, Elara began to burn, not physically but through light. Her body radiated mnemonic flame. Each memory she clung to, becoming a star in the darkness. Her eyes flooded with the faces of everyone she'd lost. Her voice rose not in words, but in sound, in movement. In the oblivion's danger unleashed itself. It surged toward her. She dropped into the core stance of Cade's dance. Her feet struck nothingness with deliberate, perfect grace, and then a second figure appeared beside her. Cade, not alive, not whole, but memory incarnate. He danced beside her, his movements guiding hers. The final steps of a dance never finished. Their limbs blurred with fire and memory, creating ripples that cracked the void. The oblivion shrieked its first and only reaction to pain. It wasn't the light that hurt it. It was remembrance. It was meaning. On Ganymede, the sphere fractured. A shock wave erupted from the vault waves of mnemonic energy, rewriting the destruction it had caused. The sphere buckled, retreating not in defeat, but confusion. Something ancient had broken its pattern, and for the first time, the oblivion paused. In the deepest part of the ship, Kim held his breath as Elaros' vitals blinked on again. She was alive, somehow. She had returned. The final broadcast from the alien vessel echoed. One last time across the stars. When the void comes to unmake you, dance. The first thing Elara saw was light warm gold, and slow like sunrise over old oceans. She gasped, lungs heaving as if reborn. The medical bay of Odyssey's end buzzed around her, voices too stunned to speak. Harrow stood at her side, hand trembling, as he gripped her shoulder. "You were gone for 6 hours," he choked out. "We thought. No one comes back from the oblivion." Elara blinked slowly, the rhythm of the dance still alive in her veins. I didn't come back. I carried it with me. She reached out and touched the bulkhead, and the ship pulsed in response, like it remembered her. News spread across the solar system like a spark in dry grass. The oblivion had retreated. Ganymede was no longer dead. The vault now thrummed with harmonic resonance, resonating with the movements Alara and Cade had etched into time. But more than that, something deeper had changed. The Shreens sent a signal, not a threat, not silence, a gesture, a file containing footage of their own citizens. Dancing. It wasn't elegant. It wasn't human. But it was a beginning. Earth's ruins glimmered under ash and cloud, but the Odyssey's end touched down where the oceans used to sing. Alara stood on a cliff overlooking the broken shell of what was once Tokyo. She wasn't alone. Thousands followed. Survivors, colonists, even a few Shirians, cloaked in memory fabric and shadowlight together. They stood where humanity had once fallen, and then the music began. A universal tone, not human, not alien. Just rhythm. And they danced. They danced on glass and ruin, on hope and ash, across the rings of planets and the silence of vacuum. They danced where memory had been devoured and reclaimed it with every heartbeat. From orbit, the sight was overwhelming. Human and Sharian vessels floated in unison, no longer aimed at each other. Around Jupiter, rings once lifeless now shimmered with pattern etched into their particles, the shape of a man and a woman spinning eternally through the void. Cade and Alara, the first and the returned, symbols of a new resistance. Dr. Kim's final report to the Alliance Council was clear. The oblivion is not dead. It slumbers, repelled for now, but we have cracked its weakness, memory, pattern, love expressed through motion. The dance is our firewall, our mythology reborn as weapon. Humanity is not just a species. We are a rhythm that cannot be erased. Later, as Jupiter rose above the horizon of the rebuilt Ganymede outpost, Alara stood in silence. The rings shimmered like silver fire. Harrow stepped beside her. "Do you think it'll come back?" She nodded. "Of course. Oblivion always does. That's its nature." He stared at her, and ours. She smiled. "To remember." Then, slowly, she extended her hand, and once more, with stars watching and time holding its breath, they danced. Story complete, they danced on the rings of Jupiter.